Hey folks, Teddy Feinberg, Brook Stockburger coming back at you from a local sports perspective on East Idaho Avenue. Brook, let's get the ball rolling here and talk WAC realignment. A lot of schools out there, Aggies obviously part of this conference. What do you think is the best position for the Aggies as far as a new league is concerned?
They're really in a scary situation. That's how I see it right now, because so many of these schools they're bringing in right now to replace the schools with some cachet that left, or schools that people don't have any connection with. You know, and we're not seeing a great fan participation at the Pan Am Center as it is. And now are they going to show up for, you know, Utah Valley or whoever else comes to town? I don't know. Now, if they get some wins, you know, you've seen smaller conferences and they go to the tournament, maybe sneak into the Sweet 16. You build up some name recognition, that will happen. But right now, they're really in a sticky situation about where the WAC is going to go, and will it just even last as a conference?
Tough spot for the Aggies, tough spot for WAC Commissioner Carl Benson. There is some potential. I think Texas San Antonio can be an absolute beast on the football field. There's been some chatter of Montana coming in. They've had Montana State, I believe, is the school that's had the storied football tradition there in the Division II level, and certainly there would be some appeal from that perspective. I think it would be great if the Aggies could join a conference. I mean, I think you would agree basketball, they're going to be competitive in just about any conference they're in. That's the history of the school. But from a football perspective, if they could join a league that they could really make some moves in, I think that would be a real plus. But a lot of talk about WAC realignment. There hasn't been a ton of movement recently, but there should be some, coming down the pike, and whatever happens will dictate a lot of NMSU's future. You mentioned the attendance, and the attendance at basketball games has been paltry.
Yeah, and people, I guess they're just not, I don't know if they're not excited about the product. You know, the team has a winning record, just a little bit above 500, but this is a team that could go into the WAC tournament and win it. I mean, they're 7-4 in the conference right now, so there's no star power, no star appeal right now with this team. And I'm not necessarily saying that's NMSU's fault, but they're not just grabbing this community right now.
There's no buzz around this team, and I think the community's had a hard time identifying with the team. There's been a lot of roster turnover over the last few years, and we talked about the absence of Wendell McInnes, but he embodies basketball in a lot of respects, and there's a lot of developmental players on this year's Aggies, but the crowd at the Louisiana Tech game the other evening was nothing short of abysmal. We're going to close things off by talking about big Oneonta Cruces game this weekend on the hardwood. Brook, Oneonta #1 in the state still. It's a big number.
Yeah, they took that #1 position and they haven't been knocked off yet. They're still king of the hill. Obviously, Cruces would love to do that. You know, Southern New Mexico, as we've talked about in previous shows, is going to be well represented at the state tournament this year. So that's where the buzz is right now. Local high school basketball is really producing some interesting storylines.
Thanks for joining us as always. You can check us out online at lcsun-news.com, Twitter, Facebook. We're also featured prominently. Thanks for checking us out as always.
Yeah.